This is the 1128 of Derech Shulchan Yomi. If you'd like to sponsor upcoming Shir, more Derech Shulchan Yomi, this can be directly be very greatly appreciated. Today we are doing Siman Yodeh Siman Kuv Ches, Sifid Aleph to Yud Ches. Yud Aleph. Omnam Yesh Min Lehefech. Some say the opposite of what we saw yesterday. That we talked about the Tanur Gadol being a leniency by large oven. Even those hold the Rechel Lab Milsa, Zarkatanim Shalem, that's only in their oven Shpilamala where the top of the oven's open on top. So the Yotzei Rech, there Pilamala, the smell goes out, fragrance goes out upwards. But our ovens, Shalmalim Stumim, that they're closed on top, Peslam on that side, the opening is from the side. The Huliyama also Rech. By us, everybody would agree that the fragrance is also. Outside, since their mouth is on the side, Machzi Karech. It holds the fragrance inside. Fatimin Isra and this goes diffuses from the Isra on the heter. Rabbeinu says, see Simon Tzai, Exam Sibra Gadol, Docha Dover Zeb Shteitan. So he rejects this with two hands. Aviyesha Kimus Farazu. But those who accept this for Shekin Kasav Shari Dura. The Shari Dura writes, it's Kasav Shara Rabbeinu Gershom, Maragol Pasakain. The Rebbe, I think, was a bit of a younger, no? I don't know. The Rebbe maybe was just a contemporary. Or maybe it's Rashi's Rebbe. It's Tam Rabbeinu Gershom. I don't know what it is. Kasav Shara Rabbeinu Gershom, Maragol Pasakain. The Rebbe of Rabbeinu Gershom passed him this way. And certainly you should take this into account. I think this is showing up, but the primary Allah is like the first Torah that we say that it's when large oven Rechel Ab Milsa. Shekosar was saying about Tesis because that's brought down by the Tesis, and Braxi says Varash and Mordechai. The love of Deyazu b'Shulchan Aruch, and then he says that this Chumrah is not brought down in Shulchan Aruch. It is a universal matter of universal agreement among all the poskim. The chashash reach ain't b'tzli al hashpod. The concern of reach, when there is one, is only with roast on a skewer. It's only made so where the Isser and Heter are close to each other. Skewers are close to each other. And the small oven. And that is the machlokas, whether we're concerned with the reach or not. But they reach their own pot. I feel like that's even the pots are not covered on top. And even if it's a small oven, and its mouth is stopped up, mutter, it's permitted. But see, pace. That's where we pass in the Shulchan Aruch. Because Ramah qualifies as so the oven is open a little bit. If it's closed on all sides, like we do at Mona with Cholent for purpose of Shabbos, also it's written. I feel the ever yesh machmir bosim ima iser b'heter megula, and even the ever those who are machmir and aser if both iser and the heter are uncovered. But if it's a place where there is a great hefsed, you can be lenient. What he means to say, what the Ramban is saying, the emes with the gamba people also mutar. Even the mouth is closed, it's still mutar. So it shouldn't be glued shut like they used to do when they used to do hatamara on the children for Shabbos. It's associated close to the cotton where they seal shut any crack, small and large. At least it's luma, it's closed. So it's not hermetic. Come here, she's coming down the side. There's still small holes on the side. Then it's mutter even to do it deliberately. Even the pot is not covered on top. But if it's hermetically sealed, so it's like that, then you have to cover the pot. She said, therefore, you're careful when you do admona on the cholent. The storking pr tanur and you cement, you shut the mouth of the oven. And even the smokestack is closed up. If you happen to put milk dishes or butter dishes in the oven, they have to be covered. Or to cover the mouths of the meat pots. One of the two. But then he says a bracket to me with the Evan and less, or if you didn't do it with the Evan, even they're both open, you can do it matir. Befrat, we'll call it Shabbos, especially in Shulchan Shabbos above, or have some Ruben, Ein Shach. Shamala Osham Pasuach, when the malashon, which is the smokestack or the chimney, where you put it, is mutter. So then pshita mutter after chatchila, then it's mutter in chatchila because all the smoke goes up, all the fragrance goes up and out. You give a afu pashtidas with share with treifa. You cook meat puddings, kosher and treifa. Utan rechad one oven shlobe keli, not in a keli, karka tanur, but on the ground of the oven. Tanur katam stuma, it's a small enclosed oven. Or shtei pashtidas ersha basar, or two pashtidas, one of meat and one shachalav, a fleshik pudding and a milchik pudding. B'chai gavna al karka tanur, this manner on the floor of the oven. One of them is covered with a plate, or butzik, or even flour. Even dough. It's about even to do it liberally. I feel even it's a small oven and its mouth is closed. Because the Rabbein Rama the Rama writes in this. With the chatchila we're making even by a big oven. Yeah, but after the fact, we're making even by a small oven. Why are we making the nearly not because of the fragrance. They came and stayed or since they're both sitting on the floor of the oven, yesh l'chush yazumi says that made some will flow from one to the other. As both seem to ein lepo shum pasim pashtida or paladim to we already know evidence that this is the case because as we learned that to bake any bread with the pashtida or the florin, I guess paladim, some sort of other pastry which is milchik or fleshik, in one oven because on that account because maybe something will flow from one to the other. If you bake in an oven a bread with roast meat on a skewer, you should not eat the bread with milk if he has another type of other bread. Also, if you bake the bread with a roasting tray piece of meat on the skewer, and also you should not eat that bread if you get another bread. All this is called what you're not allowed to deliberately and preferentially. Even if it's a big oven and has an open mouth, probably not do lechatchila. But he doesn't have enough bread or some other type. Mutter is mutter by both of them. I feel without a custom suddenly, but it's a small oven and a closed oven. The Zem Mikhail said the Eved, that's called the Eved, the Chem Pasuk Rabbeinu Ramah. Ramah Pasuk Azoi. Zalpishita says something the Rechel Lab Milsa. That's going to be, however, the Rechel Lab Milsa. That it's insignificant. Avin Rechel Milsa, but worried the Pasuk Rechel Milsa, that it's significant. Gam B'di Eved also, even after the fact, be also, but Tanner caught up in a small oven with a closed mouth. Oh, therefore he adds and says the Ramah, because of the issue of the Eimatir, Rechel Filu B'di Eved, we don't allow fragrance even with the evet. Okay, Atana Pasuk says inside unless the oven is open a bit on the side. Or on top where the smoke goes up. Of a Makam have said, Ein Lachmir with the evet, I feel Sosum Gamri. If it's a place of a loss, you don't need Machmir with the evet, even if it's completely closed. Hakan and quote Ramah. Come out the Shein Pasuk cloud, if it's not open at all, Chashin, the Shitas are sobering, we're concerned with those all the Recha Milsahi. That fragrance is substance. Once again, the evidence also even with the evidence. But in a case of a substantial loss, on some of Rashi, Arif, Rambam, who all paskin that Rechalav Milsa. Says back, it's continually, it was Zaiti Bia Ramah, Sipav, Ayin Shom, all this I think is the shot in the Ramah. Tes Vav, Od Kosam, Dimesa Dava Chorif. Ramah also writes that if the Isra is sharp, Kosh came ahead of the Chorif, and certainly if the heter is sharp, Recha Milsa, Recha is Milsa. I feel with the evidence also, and even with the evidence forbidden, they're both open. One of them is covered. I feel even with dough, mutar kind of shown us permitted. Bad verb means to say the din anu something rechol lab milsa. Even though we hold that the strict level law is that rechol lab milsa, it's not significant. Kanka medavel choif. If it's something sharp on the choshin lamar the rechol milsa, we take into account that rechol is milsa. Even though we saw that it doesn't work out so well with the sugyas of the Shas to say that Recham Milsa. Nevertheless, somebody holds that way in the Shas. And some hold that Mikra din Recha is Milsa. That way, so he asked her, even with the Evan, when it's something sharp and they're both uncovered. Is covered, even if the heter is the permitted piece is covered just with dough. A butting masi, the dough interrupts. There's no locha of fragrance at all. Even chadchil be allowed to cook milking and fleshing in the same oven. The Braga says, because came a heter dava charif. I say kavachom, certainly the heter is dava charif. What's the kavachom here? The Kamrasa says im gam a heter dava charif. Says if they're both dava charif, im gam a heter dava charif, then we'll study a machmer. Tesva zayin. Davar Pashru, well, I guess only if that was Davar Kharif. May they both be Davar Kharif? No, if this is Davar Kharif, Koshke, both of them are Davar Kharif. That's what it means. Tezayin. Davar Pashru, the Davar Shanasa Reach, simple thing to say. So it's just made for fragrance. Plus, but the Reach, you put in an oven that should make a fragrance. I feel better regardless, even a large oven, people so can open mouth. Or mean a Recha Milsa, we say Recha Milsa, but Lachain im Nosnu Reach. But therefore, if you allowed, if you put the fragrance deliberately, then it should go into the bread in the oven. And in the fragrance there is meat. Also, it's forbidden to eat that bread with milk. And vice versa. So if there's some iser in the fragrance, not just basar or chalab. Shasa challah paschal, and I can't eat their bread at all. If you ain't trying a little pasach, if you don't have any other bread, shein sakana, but there was always no sakana. Came which I saw bekavana. L'reach is made deliberately for the fragrance to be infused by the milk of and then it's certainly significant, no matter what. Yud Zayin, Orkasav, he also writes the Ramah. Im Afu Tzala Isser Heter Tachas Machvas Achas Megulin. If you baked or roasted an Isser and Heter under a same pan and they're open, also I feel b'diavad, so I see b'diavad. V'adin im Afu Kai Gavna passing boston. It's true also if you bake bread with meat. Also Achlam B'chalav, and then I'll eat them with milk. Ava B'zeh Achazeh, that's only simultaneous, but if it's consecutive, one after the other, ain't lachos, no concern. Only can is machos name unless the pan, presumably it's an inverted pan, was mezia, sweated out droplets. On account of these two things underneath it, it's also consecutively. You should believe they're both uncovered. Because this pan on top is like covering a pot, which unifies everything in the pot. I can't show you. Beer that's bottom. What the Muslim means to say is yesh mami the machvash yesh lo reglain gavosh going tripoda. People with a pan which has high legs, which is called a tripod. That's so him open. And underneath these pan they roast and they bake. And so the kol shtach is a machvas. So it comes out anything which is under the pan. A machvas mekina lein. The pan protects him. Yesh means some say the zel kedino shlatanu katan shemech achmi agmar. In that case, it's like a small oven on that pan. Like the Gemara. So look to Recha Milsa Yim Lab. That's the way the Machlokas, where Recha Milsa or not. If that's the case, we might just be like Haykel Ladina La Milsa. Well, since we know the prime local is La Milsa. Kam Mutter B'Diavad. Here also we Mutter B'Diavad. It says some brackets I'm based on the places. That's what is the Arukh, but the opinion of Esther had to Vashlochim, the Shari Dura, but Shumas Hadeshan. This is worse than oven. Since it's so packed. In this case, everybody agrees with Recha Milsi. But I feel with the Evan also, so it's even the Evan. No offer passing of also, if they bake bread with meat, also now to eat the meat with the bread, with that bread with milk. Aviation show those say the sell pop more. That's when they have a little bit of bread. A passing with a lot of bread. Also a cloud. Can you eat even with meat? They should learn about lecho b'cholav. So you shouldn't take the rest leftovers and eat them with the milk. Koshkam is inside of Zayin. Lani is daiti. According to Arukh HaShulchan, ain't okay. That's not the case. Tavshem es shorim so became. You know, try to do a hose away. I ain't sure. Nevertheless, mitiklu shonakan. from the precision of his language here. Near Leheja, it seems quite clear. Shebazeh lo ratza lachmir kolkach. He didn't want to be machmir so much. Okay, if not, have him before she would have to also chumras. Lemezeh chumra yisera. The truth is that even I guess this pan inside the oven is a super duper chumra. So you das it is zukat because according to this, it's like a regular oven. So why should we ask her to be machmir to ask it altogether? It's enough not to eat it with milk. He says brackets chenkas api chadash minchas Yaakov. Yurches it says shekasu the bezar chazay in lakush on keni ziyah machvas. If they one after another consecutively, you don't have to be concerned unless the pan is dripping. You cook a fleshik pudding in one oven underneath the pan. You can bake literally the same place. Some sort of milking dish. And they're both on the floor of the oven. Ain't isser bezeh. There's no isser mechad lo yishar shamnu isser makom shenach pashira. There's no fatty deposit left where the pashira is sitting. What about the fragrance of the pashira, which is there? We don't find that a smell in a vessel answers the food which is placed in it. But the pan is dripping because of both of them. The pan is like of any other covering of a pot. The metal awning is also considered to be like a door. I lost my train of thought. Right? It's like a cover. And whatever they had of the whatever is previously falls on the palladium. So therefore there isn't 60. Corresponding to the place of which is fleshik. Also palladium, the milking is also. The source of heter acher iser. You bake the heter after the iser. Tagas of machmas. Assuming it doesn't become regular fleshik. Upashu the ishim achas mehen. In any event, if anyone is covered with a vessel, any kind of iser, no problem of being able to I'm sorry, lost my train of thought. If one of them is covered with a vessel, only one, and on this is no issue. The ain't zeh olam machal atzmo. There's no zeh from the food, only from the machlas. So that machlas has to be shared by the two of them in order to become also.